Hi everybody, and I'm back for the answers for the 6 questions. So, question number 1, 9/10 multiplied by 1/2. Now, what we do when we multiply fractions is we multiply the numerators first. So 9 multiplied by 1 is 9, and then 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. So you've got 9 over 20 as your answer. Okay, 64.4 divided by 10. Well, first of all, I'm going to write my 64.4 at the top. And when we divide or multiply by 10, 100 or 1,000, we've got to make sure that we use the dot method. So we know there's 1 0 in 10, so we're going to put 1 dot. Now when you divide, you move all the places to the right because you're making them 10 times smaller. Okay, you're sharing them out 10 times. So if we move all of these figures from place to the right, we've got 6.44 as your answer. Question number 3, we use our keep, change, flip method when we are dividing fractions by whole numbers. So we keep 1/8, we change our division sign to a multiplication sign, and we flip 2 over 1, which it currently is, to 1 over 2, which is 1/2. And just like before, when we multiply two fractions together, we multiply the numerators. So 1 multiplied by 1 is 1, and 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. So you've got 1 over 16 as your answer. Question number 4, you're multiplying 4.02 by 7. So I'd recommend using the formal methods of 4.02 goes at the top, and then your 7 goes at the bottom. Now, there's an exception with place value when you're multiplying decimals by whole numbers, because you're multiplying each of these digits by 7. So first of all, we do 7 multiplied by 2, which is 14. 7 multiplied by 0 is 0 plus the 1, which is 1. Drop the decimal point down, and 7 multiplied by 4 is 28. So your answer is 28.14. So in our next question, we are finding 15% of 976. So first of all, I need to find 10% of the 15%. So I divide this number by 10. So 796 divided by 10, we put our decimal point there, and then we move them one place to the right. So that becomes 97.6. So that equals 10%. Now to find 5%, because we need to find 10 and 5 and then add those two numbers together to get 15%. So to find 5%, we need to half this number. Now, visually, in my head, I won't be able to half that number, so I do need to put it into a bus stop method. Okay, so I put 97.6 in the bus stop, and then I put 2 on the outside because I want to halve this number, so I divide it by 2. So how many 2's are in 9? Well, I know there's 2, 4, 6, 8. So there are 4. So I've got a remainder 1 if I take the 8 away from 9. How many 2's are in 17? Well, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So there are 8. And again, we're on 16, so if we take 16 away from 17, we're left with the remainder 1, so we carry that over. Make sure we put our decimal point up there, and then how many 2's are in 16? Well, we know that there are 8 exactly, with no decimal, with no remainder, sorry. So, our answer is 48.8, and that is what 5% of 976 is. So just going to rub out these markings here, and then what our final thing that we need to do is to add the two numbers together. And once we add these numbers together, then we get our 15%. So 6 plus 8 is 14. So we carry the 1 over. Make sure you drop that decimal point down. 7 plus 8 is 15, plus the 1 is 16. Carry the 1 over. 9 plus 4 is 13. Add the 1 is 14. So 15% of 976 is 146.4. And finally, you're taking away two decimals from one another, so we have to use the formal method here. Now, the most important thing, like I always say, is to ensure that the decimal points are lined up correctly, because if they're not, then you will get the incorrect answer. Now, as you can see here, we need to make sure that we put our placeholder in, and start subtracting from the smallest digit. So 0 take away 5, well, we can't do because the top number is smaller than the bottom number, so we have to exchange. So the 3 becomes a 2 and the 0 becomes a 10. So 10 take away 5 we can do, which is 5. 2 take away 2 is 0. Put your decimal point down there. 5 take away 9 we can't do, so we can borrow again, we exchange. The 5 becomes a 4 and the 5 becomes a 15. 15 take away 9 is 6, and then 4 take away nothing is 4. So your answer is 46.05. Superb. So have a look at all of the answers. Make sure you got the correct ones. Go back through the workings out that I've showed you to see where you may have made a mistake. If not, fantastic work, guys, as always, and I'll see you tomorrow for another 6 arithmetic questions. Take care.